Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Intel Challenge Katowice. This is actually going to be game two, because
Yeah.
something happened. We may have missed one or two, or I think we only missed one map in the end. That was, of
Yeah.
course, Secret versus iSports. Absolute stomp. Secret starting off the tournament very, very nicely. Of course, I'm Tom. Joining me is going to be Risk, obviously our expert for tomorrow. But for today, you're actually going to join us on a little bit of casting as well.
Yeah, I'm joining the family. This is my introduction to the ESL family. So here I
It's
am.
mine too, actually.
Yeah, actually,
We're
yeah.
both the newbies for...
The newbies here. And then we get to cast the first one on the stream.
Yeah, the first get, and then they're going to get rid of us for the rest. And just like throw us in a ditch.
Yep.
Well, I hope not.
Oh, no. It's going to be a really interesting game, to be honest, because we do have the team that's formerly known as Selfless, who's now been signed up by Dignitas. So that's a really, really big move in female CS.
Well, also, their opponent as well has recently signed to Vex. So both teams just sort of been, well, I don't want to say Selfless were picked up because Property were actually Property, then were picked up by Vex, but it was actually a buyout. So Selfless have recently changed to Dignitas. Obviously, Dignitas very well known in Counter-Strike for the male teams, but now moving into the female side of things. And I think out of all the teams they could have picked up, this is definitely the best roster they could have gone for. Obviously, Secret are fairly far and above from what we've seen in previous tournaments, the best team in the world for female CS, but at least on this sort of line, we saw them at ESWC. They managed to finish second, which was quite a surprise considering they were relatively new at the time. They brought in Kath, and we were sort of thinking, okay, we don't really know what to expect. Straight in, beat CLG Red, and then actually finish second in the event as well.
Yeah, in my opinion, Team Dignitas probably is second or third in the world right now in female CS. So this is a really good signing for them. And yeah, we're going to have a look at the bracket here. So someone's going to bring that up. There we go. First match of the day was played off stream. That's 16-1 for Team Secret over iSports. And now we're moving on into Team Dignitas versus Vexed. Of course, the winner of that going to play Secret for a spot in the playoffs. And the loser of that will go down to the elimination match. So yeah, it's going to be real interesting to see who goes out on in that match. iSports, of course, did not look too good in the beginning of Secret. But Secret are a strong team.
Yeah, it's sort of like there's a lot of teams, it's always been the case that you can see someone play up against Secret and lose like heavily like that, and then they may actually come back in the latter games. Obviously this group, I do think it's fairly well known who should be going through. We are expecting it to be Secret and Dig, but the fact is, because there's such long breaks actually between the like female LAN events, it's very difficult to tell. Like, I do genuinely believe if one of the teams had just sat down, practiced for a few months, they just get themselves into a position where they've already been researching their opponent, they definitely could just come in and surprise everyone here, because a lot of the time there aren't teams that stick together too long. I think we've had so many rosters where we've gone, okay, they've got a stand-in, they've recently switched someone, we don't know how this person's going to play, this team has been having some okay results, but they've not actually won a map. That was the one thing that we've said about Vex. Like, the last couple of lands they went to, they haven't actually managed to win a map, but at the same time, against anyone they play, it's a very close game. Like, I think it was at ESWC, they went 0-4, and then they actually managed to, but I think it was the worst loss they had was 16-13, which to go 0-4 and be close on every single map, that's not great.
Yeah, that's too hard sometimes. We do have the team sheets of the teams, so you can have a look at the lineups of these two teams, if we can bring them up, and we can go through them. Here's Vexed, of course. I think the names are wrong here.
Yeah,
also the
we've
Dignitas
got the names for Dignitas, and then we've got...
But yeah, Vexed, of course, as you said, formerly Property, and then Orkless, and now being picked up by Vexed. So, of course, want to show the world that they still have what it takes to be in a really good esports organization, because Vexed have, like, they had a team at the major for the males as well. So this is not a small organization, Vexed. So they want to prove themselves.
I like their team as well, because it's a mix of people we've had around the female scene for a little while, like Kitty Cat, who's sort of been... not in Secret, but in the prior team of Secret, like she was in the mix there. And then you've got Anna, who obviously the coach himself has sort of said, I think this is going to be an up-and-coming player. I think she's only 17. Orpa for the team, the star as well. So a mix of sort of old and new, and that normally seems to be a very good scenario where you have sort of someone who's been around the scene for a while who can sort of teach the youngster, and then the youngster gets all the experience and also just the talent that is brought in straight at the beginning.
Yeah, definitely. To do a comparison to the male scene, Heroic and Yugi is a perfect example here, because she's also a young AWP player. I think exactly the same age as Anna, coming into a team with a lot of experience. Yeah. So this is the same case, and I think it's going to be really interesting. I'm not quite sure what the map is yet. Right now we are on Overpass. That would be
that's what we see
really interesting to start on there. But of course, two teams that want to prove themselves, two teams recently picked up by organizations. That's also a big mental play, because they have to show show the world and to show the guys who've invested money into them that we can actually come here to play. And also, Vexed, of course, they have the upside potential because they're not one of the teams, as we mentioned. It's probably going to be Secret and it's going to be Dignitas to go through. So they're the team that everyone's going to be looking at, okay, we're not expecting you to win, but you can pull the upset because they're not a bad team at all.
Well, it's sort of like, it's also a pressure situation.
Yeah,
it's like, like it was so surprising, I suppose, Dignitas to just come straight. And like we were talking about Selfless previously, just like, yeah, they've got a good team. Obviously, the organization would be fairly happy with this, and Dig just come and snatch it right before the event and just go, yeah, we're just going to take these ladies away and we're going to move on and just like, we're going to take the organization forward. And the thing is, especially with Dignitas, you've got to say, like, we know that this organization is one of success. They know what they're doing. They have the right sort of practicing regimes. They have all of the coaches. They have all these people who they can bring in behind and say, do you know what, this is what you should be doing, and sort of help the team along. So I'm very happy to see Dignitas sort of moving into this industry. Obviously, we do have other teams like LGB still in, but not in this tournament, unfortunately. We've got LDLC as well. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing what Dig can actually do.
Yeah, definitely. Also, when talking about the whole infrastructure thing, they do have the whole 76ers partnership as well. So they have the financial backing to do this 100%. And I think that's really, really healthy and really good for the female scene to get like an organization that says, okay, we're going to support you 100% and give you everything you need in order to progress and in order to evolve as players. And that is only going to be like good for the entire scene, because if one team starts doing that, I remember way back in Source when Games did that, everyone was like, oh, yeah, we got to do that as well, and that helped the whole scene grow. Yeah, I think this is kind of like the same scenario.
Now, I'm hoping we can actually bring up the team, Dignitas team, on the screen as well. Like, we've had a little bit of mix of both, and not quite had either. So they've got the correct names this time as well. So that's definitely a strong point to go on. Now, Kath is obviously someone I think we need to highlight in this sort of situation. Obviously, old CLG Red player, left the team, didn't really know what was going to come of that. Obviously, I have to say, I don't think CLG Red have been anywhere near as good since she actually left the team. They've had some sort of sketchier results. Obviously, they were right at the top prior to that, always sort of in that second place. You're always like, okay, they're going to come up against Secret, and that will be the battle. But yeah, she's now come into this team, and that's, I think, just brought new life into it. I think they've looked much, much stronger with her, and obviously, again, it's sort of that experience thing. That she has it. She has the sort of high-pressure situations under her belt. So I think this team could genuinely go quite far. Whether they can match up to the might of Secret, I feel like we're going to say that all the way through the tournament, but whether they can, that's another thing altogether. Yeah,
that's going to be the story. I'm really looking forward to see Ghost Breeder and also Emulate, how they're going to come into this game, how they're going to start off, because getting that first win in a tournament like this is so important for your self-confidence, especially when you're a team like Team Dignitas, who are not really expected to be like the favorite of the whole tournament. They've got to start building that confidence from game one and then build it all the way to the final if they get there, where they're maybe going to meet Secret, and then they're going to have to like cash it all in at that point. So they have to start off on the right side of the bed and really get going.
The thing is, though, if they do win this game, they're going to meet Secret anyway, because that's the winner bracket. Either way, I think whoever goes up against them is going to have a tough time. But we do actually have the map. I don't know, can we bring up a veto, or do we just know the one map? We cannot bring up a veto. Okay, the map is going to be Overpass, so as we mentioned earlier. Now, this is where things get a little bit interesting on whether or not, who do you think is going to be taking this just based, can you base it on the map, or are we just going to be talking about, okay, obviously we haven't seen them play for so long. It's like whether or not one of them has sort of like the practice regime on this map. I do think this is a map that a lot of it comes down to synergy, especially on the CT side. Rotation's so very important. You've got to make sure you know exactly what you're doing. If you over-rotate, going back up towards a sort of A site can be very, very difficult to get back in once the smokes are down. Also, the fallback strategy of just like, okay, how do we actually get them now that they've just fallen away and put the bomb down?
Yeah, I think it's a perfect map really to showcase like how individually talented but also team talented a team can be in CS, because you have to think of so much when you're doing everything, because it's not like just like a Dust 2 where you can run and gun and smoke your way out of everything. You actually, in order to do anything on this map, you have to actually really think about it and have to have great setup, especially on the T side. If you want to get into a bomb site, you have to place 2 or 3 preset smokes in there and then a couple of pop flashes as well to get into the bomb site. So I think this is a great map, also based off the few statistics that we have, because there's a lot of time between the female events, as we said, but this is usually one of the maps that Team Dignitas or Selfless, as we were called before, actually really good at. So this could be a great start for them.
Yeah, no, I am looking forward. I'm hoping we'll be getting into the game relatively soon, and then we can just see for ourselves. Because as I said, it has been a while since the SWC. There hasn't been an event this year, I don't think. I think this is the first event in 2017 for female Counter-Strike.
Yeah, definitely. So we are right now just waiting for the knife round to go live. and then we'll be getting into the game. But yeah, in general, this is of course the first game for these two teams, and then we have the rest of this group going to be playing out, and then we have Group B afterwards. So we have all the group stage games today, a bunch of best of ones for you guys to watch at home. So it's going to be pretty exciting. Who's your favorite to go out of all these groups here? Because we talked about Secret and Dignitas. Those are our favorites from this group, and then we have the upset potential. But in the second group.
The second group is where things get a little bit more interesting, I feel. I feel like there's a couple of teams, obviously LDLC got a direct invite, but we didn't see too much from them previously in the last few tournaments they've had. Recently swapped players as well, so that's another sort of aspect you have to take into account, especially with CT sides. I feel like the T side, like you can fit into strategies relatively well if you know obviously a smoke setup, or you're pushing in a direction, or if you're a lurker, someone just says, okay, you're playing over here, or just something like that. But on the CT side, that's where chemistry really comes into play. CLG Red, they've had some ups and downs recently, and again, they've got a stand-in for this event, so we don't know how they're really going to be performing. I'm sort of looking more towards Expert, because they're one team, like I've casted the Star Ladder, the female stars previously, and they played phenomenally well against Secret. They actually managed to, well, they should have won. They actually should have won. I reckon in the sort of I think it was the semi-final. I think that's where they went out. But they actually, I think it went all 3 maps. I think it was something like 16-14, very, very close, and they were actually up in both of them. They managed to win a map as well, and I was just very impressed by the way that they played. Now, again, they've switched something now. They've switched out a player, and the problem is they've brought in a sort of mid-tier up and rising player, but they've lost Hellrose, their in-game leader. So it's sort of like, it's that mesh. Like, is it okay, have you lost the tactics too much, or can you go to more of the sort of like the Fnatic style where it's just like, yeah, we don't need Pronex anymore because all of our players are just more talented and we can just basically pug the map a little bit more, but it works because we're much better. So it's definitely going to be that balance, but I'm actually going to go with Heaven and probably CLG Red to actually get out of that second group.
Interesting. But yeah, for those of you guys waiting at home, of course we are minutes away from getting this started, no worries.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
We've had a few problems today.
But yeah, it's gonna be really good. And the tournament itself, of course, we have today, and then we have the playoffs tomorrow, which is going to be best of 3. Of course, that's where, in my mind, the real team talent really shines, because then you have the whole veto process. You have the maps that you prefer and the ones you don't prefer. You have to actually have a deep map pool. Best of 1s, you always end up on the map that you know how to play. But if in a best of 3, if your map pool is not that wide or not that deep, you actually might get into trouble. And I think that's where the really good teams are going to shine compared to the teams that aren't as prepared. And that's where I think, for example, Secret will really show, like, okay, we can both do best of 1s and individual skill, but we can also do a best of 3 and really have all the maps down and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think for sure, especially going into the ladder stage, because against most female teams, we haven't actually seen too much of a weakness from them in the past. Obviously, the one thing that you have to take into account with their team is that they are the easiest team to counter because they do play the most. Like, they still enter into sort of male tournaments a little bit more. Haven't had too much success in that, right? It has to be said, but I think that will just come with time. Just a lot of practice. They are some very talented individuals. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think we've already seen, well, it's been a while, but I'm still going to bring it up. Rip Cadian, of course, when he got absolutely destroyed by Giuliano. And it is obviously there. It's just whether or not they can break into that sort of aspect. I really hope they do. I think it'd be great for the sport, great for all the sponsors as well. But it looks like we are going to be jumping into the knife round. And, well, obviously, where do you want them to start? I know where I would expect them to start, but where do you think this is going? Like, roughly the side of the map at the moment.
I would really like Team Dignitas to start on the T side, to be honest. And that's not really on a, like, who's going to win the game and have the biggest chance. It's just my personal preference, because I'm looking forward to see how they're going to structure their T sides, because I think, that's just my belief, that their T side is going to be a bit more structured than Vexed.
But they're not going to have the choice.
Well, they're not going to have the choice.
But that might mean they're on the T side.
Yeah,
so
that's fine. That's fine by me.
Can we actually, I'm just going to move some stuff out of the way so I can actually see which side they'd show. We've just lost a player from the server as well, so we may have a little bit longer than we expected. But yeah, on to Overpass. I really like this map. I think there's a lot of opportunities, obviously, for boosts, which make me very, very happy as a person. I'm hoping we won't see any 5 boosts like we've seen previously, which was just a bit nutty, and no more Fnatic boosts, please. But other than that, it's just a very enjoyable match. And if you do sort of spend your time just...
Yeah, it's gone dark.
It's gone dark.
Hey, we're back. No worries. But yeah, to continue on to that point, yeah, I think Overpass is really an interesting map. And also, as I mentioned earlier in the start of this podcast, that this is a map that really showcases talent in the game and how you understand, how you rotate, how you retake. And I think this is a perfect start for us in the stream.
Yeah, and also I think this map, like you said about positioning, like there's always, I think Zippix is probably one of my favorite players to watch on this map.
Oh, yeah.
Just because he knows where people, even through the walls, and without cheating as well,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
makes it even more impressive. Just like we've seen so many pre-fire spots. Just obviously the wood on B is probably the most primary one. Like you can do it from the T side as well to stop aggression. But even just having like that sort of little bit of knowledge just to go, I reckon there'll be someone here just about now, and all the pop flashes. And also I think the big thing about this map is just controlled aggression.
Yeah.
I think that CT side aggression, obviously the more common is over towards that A side, just because you sort of go to challenge over towards that party area, maybe an AWP or so, or just try and take a pick early on. But there's so many different ways, and we've seen a lot of teams, I think Magis does it as well, where he actually boosts up and just holds close from party. And I want to see some of that dynamic Counter-Strike, just taking controlled aggression. Obviously not just running straight in and trying to challenge, but just playing it smart and doing it in a way that, fair enough, if you lose the duel, your team can still sort of survive without you in a different sort of setup.
Yeah, and also like playing the two-man setups, really helping each other out. Because if you go for an early aggressive peak and then you die off, you should have a teammate straight in there to get the revenge kill because you do have the information. And that's some of the stuff that I really expect to see a lot. Also, I think taking connector control could be really interesting on this CT side. Like, who's going to go for it? Is it going to be the T side pushing up every single round and take that connector control? Because that's a lot of the map being taken early on. And also, like, for the confidence, if you know you have, okay, we have control over long, we have control over the party area, we have connector as well on the T side, then you have so many different possibilities, so many different plays, and the CTs are pushed a lot back. So that's going to be very interesting going into this game.
But the other thing is the counter is like, do you abandon certain positions of the map, and then if you do, how do you go about it? Do you give up connector but then have somebody waiting close just outside in toilets? Or are you, like, that's the way you sort of play this map. Like, you may not be able to hold on to the whole map at the whole time. That's not going to work out for you, I'm sorry, unless you're just ridiculous. But what do you give up? How do you decide, okay, we need to make sure we have control of long? Because a lot of teams, like long is a place that they'll just be happy to give up. Yeah. We'll just sit back towards the sites, we'll take short control, and that can buy them in many other different areas. But it does look like we are going into the pistol. So hopefully you're not going to see our faces for at least another maybe 30, 40 minutes.
Hopefully. We're going to jump in, and there we go. Of course, you're watching the Intel Challenge in Katowice, where, of course, also the IEM Katowice is being held right now, but this is the female tournament, and we do have Team Dignitas against Vexed and Overpass.
Yeah, and already we can see connector control has been taken early on. It is going to be a quick push over onto this B site. There's already a couple of players already and waiting, but not going to be able to hit anything just yet. Going to go for a pretty basic boost over the top. The bomb will be going down in the meantime, and Gooseberry is going to go very aggressive, but is already lost very early into the round, and just battles going left, right, and center. And it is going to be the T's looking to come out on top. Kath doing a lot of damage, but traded out. Emily going to be the only one left alive. Unfortunately, I can't see how much HP she has. Oh, wait, 9 and 0, but it will be her death, and it will be Vexed to get that first round.
Yeah, I really liked the way that they actually played that CT side, because they played 3 guys aggressive on the A-bomb side, trying to check out and trying to take that control over long and short. And then meanwhile, while they didn't have control over the connector or over the B side for the aggressive angles, they had 2 guys waiting in graffiti and in the rotate position. So whenever they saw the terrorists coming in, they were actually ready to take those tools to kind of like hold them back. And then when the terrorists went even more aggressive, they actually had perfect positions for the strat that was coming in. So Vex Gaming taking that pistol, 1-0. We do see the umps coming in and the MP7s against pretty much just P250s on the T side. 2 flashbangs, so that's probably going to be a couple of pop flashes, and then go and bomb rush some site, get Emily to plant that bomb and get some more money in the bank.
Of course, getting the bomb down in the previous round is the reason for this. Now, I'm interested by the MP7s, a gun that has pretty much gone out of fashion in Counter-Strike at the moment, but they have brought it in. UMP is pretty much the meta buy at this point, but it's quite a risky one. Now, obviously, they know that it's unlikely there would have been a force in this scenario. Some teams do it just to throw them off, and I think if they did, well, that would have been very worrying because of the buy that's actually come out on the other side. They probably could have matched it with UMPs, but instead, it is just going to be these P250s, and a great opportunity at the moment for Vex to actually just farm up a hell of a load of cash. And you can already see Kitty Cat will be there to start things off, looking to just clean up everything, already looking for her 3rd kill of the round, but it is going to be Sonic to get that, and well, flawless victory. The interesting thing for me is, will they actually just force up to the rifles now? And if so, I feel like that may be a little bit wasteful.
Yeah, we're going to see here the 2 players already spinning down, so this is the sign of them buying whatever they can and bringing that into this round. So Dignitas wanting to get this round on the board, wanting to get this first round on the board very, very early, and they're going for it. Now they have 3 smokes and 1 Molotov, So this could be some kind of set strat because 2 players are actually not without anything. So they probably have something planned for this, I would imagine. Now lining up towards that B bomb site. Right now just walking in towards Monster.
The aggression as well that's come out in the meantime from the CT side. It is just going to leave Marian alone over on the site. The remaining 2 should be rotating back in from short. It could be a decent retake. Already a couple of trades coming in, but it will be Goose Breeder to give the man advantage over towards that T side. And now we'll see the remaining rifles at least going to be trying to attempt that retake from Vexed. But with the site already completely in the control and the aggressive position from Elite, it is just going to be quick trades. But already the T's looking to come out on top. Gaff completely misses though, and that's going to give Kitty Cat a good opportunity. Brings back 2, only Rain left to try and challenge. And both players are low.
Good flash. There we go. Rain actually turns back to it, and then now is in a 1v1 against Sonic. Rain, can she make it? She makes it happen. And that is going to be the first round for Team Dignitas. 1-2 now. And Rain clearly excited for that one. And that also means that economy on the Vex gaming side is going to be a bit broken here. They have 1 player on $1,800, 1 on 2,100. So they're probably going to go for a couple of pistols and then buy around this 2K limit and then 3K for the AWP player. And then go into the next one thinking that they can take that. Team Dignitas on the other side. Look at that. P90. We don't see that a lot.
No. Oh no.
We usually see the but now the P90.
Pro 90. Haven't seen that. Haven't seen that in a while. MP7 as well. So going to be looking to farm up cash in there, but Anna's actually going to be the one to get the first kill. Here comes the P90 running down long. Very interesting choice of position to take it as well, but it is going to work out. It's the first
I like
kill.
this from Anna. She's been
almost catches the bomb.
Yeah, her position this round has been so key. She got a bit unlucky in the end, but she got the first frag, and she was so close to getting that second frag with just a 5-7 investment. So that's really good from her. The rest of the team falling a bit with some weird positioning, but right now Team Dignitas are setting up to go for this A push here. Oh, actually, no, they're turning back. The bomb is still waiting here. 1 CT player is in connector holding that, so if that player goes down in CT in that connector, they will know it's going to be a B push, and they can actually rotate in and maybe get the bomb down, get the bomb planter down before she plants that bomb. So I actually really like this CT setup despite them being on pistols here for Vexed.
45 seconds left on the clock. They are going to be making their way over towards the B side at the moment. Decent position from Marian. Will be able to spot the cross, but they're actually going to be pushing back in towards the site. Has to try and get back. Now the rotation is in the meantime coming in from her teammates. Through the smoke, actually manages to get 1. A couple of low players as well. Catches quite a bit of damage onto a second. But now it's all down to Julia trying to get back into the site. Obviously doesn't have anything other than the P250. They've done quite a bit of damage already in this round, so if she can drop 1, maybe 2 players, that'll be brilliant, especially when we know that the economy over on Team Dignitas is not good at the moment, just because of the position they left themselves in the previous round. Only 1 player surviving. Kath is going to be caught, and well, nobody watching over towards that graffiti position, but it is 2 players. That's still not great, though, considering what was invested.
No, and also considering how close they were, because first of all, they got the first kill from Anna. After that, they actually spot the push coming in towards Monster, so they have the information that the bomb is going towards that B bomb side, and they know all 4 players are coming in from that exact position. So if they rotated correctly and held the correct angles, they would probably have gotten a bit more out of it. But nonetheless, it's going to be 2-2. They got some kills in, so it's not like they got completely destroyed, so self-confidence is still existing. Now, probably a Monster push here, and we're with Sonic with the bum ass. Straight out of the meta, just gets gunned down. And now, flashbangs and molotovs going everywhere. Marian and Monkey, Julia, of course, the anime reference there. If you catch that reference, good for you.
I do actually get that one. I don't watch much anime, but the bomb's going to be going down. Rotation has come in from Kitty. Anna's going to manage to take down 1. Already making this retake look pretty good, and the positioning of the remaining 2 players over towards water should actually give them a good chance to get back into the site. Now there's nobody over towards short. Emily still on the site. Anna's actually caught out another one, so looking good so far as Julie manages to pick up 1 more. It's only Goose Breeder left. They're just picking everyone out left, right, and center. She's not even going to be able to stop the bomb defuse no matter what, and eventually they clean up every single kill. Vexed looking much better already on their CT side. Nice retake.
Yeah, this was a really good retake from Julia, especially coming in with those 2 frags of hers. So Vexed actually looking really fine to the beginning of this game, and And I'm actually thinking, yeah, we talked about the possibility of an upset here. We're, of course, only 5 rounds into the game, but it's looking really good for the underdogs here. Vexed happy with the result so far. And 2 umps coming in on the T side. Almost full setup. Of course, Sonic here with the FAMAS is the only one without an actual rifle. So that's going to be interesting in the boosted position. On the other side of the map, Team Dignitas are getting map control, setting up towards this B push. Slowly but surely edging their way through the map.
You haven't really taken too much control. Gonna go for a little bit of a boost. I do like that. They're trying to basically safely clear out connector, and they will do just that. Now they've got a couple of UMPs and a Galil in place, so definitely not the best buy, but the FAMAS over on that CT side is a similar situation. They are going for a boost of their own, but this one is very common and should be quite scripted by their opposition. Can also spot out if they come out connector as well. Now, we spoke about this earlier. They've completely abandoned it. Kath is going to spot out one in this boost, but actually, well, maybe not. Doesn't see anything. It's going to be Sonic to get the first kill. No trade available as they try to push back in. Kath will be able to pick up one, bringing it back to a 4 versus 4 as they attempt to make their way over towards this A site. In the corner, can't quite connect, will be Sonic, and just trades at the moment, bringing it back, but it's still this CT side, Kitty Cat doing the damage. And it's going to be Artstar and Kath to try and bring this round back.
If throws that nade up in the air, does no damage whatsoever. Marion and Julia remaining against Kath and Artstar. Kath on 3 HP though, so she might not have that big of an influence. But nice shot from Marion, takes Kath down, and now it's a 2v1. Kits on both CT players, so this is definitely in their hands, and Marion gets it done. 4-2 for Vexed. And Team Dignitas now find themselves in a position where they have to eco. And it's probably going to be 1 or 2 players buying a P250, maybe a Tech 9, but it's almost going to be a completely dry eco. So a great way for Vex to farm up some money, farm up some confidence, and get the 5th round on the board.
Yeah, it has to be said. Spoke about Kitty earlier as like the experienced player in this team. She has stepped up so far.
Yeah.
Let's see, 11-4 on the scoreboard at the moment, and nobody else really anywhere near that sort of scoreline. We are just going to have, again, a sort of dry push over on this T side. Kath going to be going aggressive, try and get close and personal, but mowed down by Anna. Hasn't even got that AWP in play yet. May not need it. Actually, looks to take the scope off of her pistol. Not going to work out with the silencer, not the scope. I want a scope pistol now. Can we just add that to the R8? Why not? I'm not doing anything with it anyway. Just give it a scope. But Rain, last one left alive, doesn't have any armor behind this M4. But to be honest, in this situation, even just throwing out the map could be a little bit costly. See if she can take anyone down, but it's not going to happen, and they shouldn't be able to retrieve it anyway. Yeah,
nice round from Anna there. Could have actually gotten 4 kills and maybe even 5 if she hadn't misclicked on that silencer. So 5-2 for Vex Gaming, looking really good. As you said earlier, Kitty Cat on top of that scoreboard, 12-4 scoreline right now. I'm really looking at like Artstar and Emily because they're only on 3 and 2 frags, and that's very uncharacteristic for them because they're usually sitting quite up there doing well for their team, and they have to step it up. But now is the time. They do have the buy round. We have 5 smokes and a couple of Molotovs, so they've definitely got something up their sleeve now, Team Dignitas.
Yeah, we are going to have push taking long control at the moment. Anna with the AWP in hand. We've been waiting to see this so far, obviously hyped up quite severely by her coach. And she is actually going to get the first pick of the round as well, so clearly for a very good reason. Yeah. Starts things off. We are going to have Emily going back towards this B site, taking control originally, but they haven't really gained too much out of it. They had long control, lost it. Now they've just gone on pretty much defaulted back towards this B side. The boost is in play. Again, very common boost over on this B side. This is one that most teams should pre-fire. And the problem is if smokes go down, you can't actually see very much. The bomb can easily go down without anything happening whatsoever. But in this situation, there isn't a smoke on the site, but actually going to lose the duel anyway. Emily will take her head clean off, evening up the scoreline once again.
Good smokes.
It's going to be the 4 versus 4. A lot of damage done for these Ts, however. They're going to look to take control. Now, in previous situations, they've had some problems. I like this boost. And Emily just finds another one, stepping up again in this round, gets 2 entry kills onto the site. There's going to be Anna with this AWP, but the problem is that she really needs somebody else to actually take the distraction away. Kath is just going to go back into the mini pit, and well, at the moment it's looking like they're just going to have to duck out of this round, try and escape. Not going to happen for one of them. Anna Actually pushing back in. I think she should just run for the hills.
Yeah, definitely. But this is looking like the T take that we would expect out of Dignitas. They're very, very structured. They needed that last smoke for the boost position, but luckily for them, Emily just came in with the AK and just took like the CT set straight off. But really nice push from them, getting the 2 smokes down towards Graffiti, so the rotation is stopped, get the bomb down, hold the positions, even going for the counter boost as well. So that's a really well structured take towards that B side coming up for Dignitas. And if they can continue doing stuff like this at this level strategically, then I think they have a big chance of bringing it back, despite Vexed being in the lead with 2 rounds here.
Yeah, the interesting thing about the smoke that actually blocks him, it's not really a smoke that's intended to block, it's just a smoke for the bomb most of the time.
Okay, yeah.
So it's just like, if that smoke's in play, it's sort of coincidence if they're not thinking that they're going to be able to take the site without it. Anna going aggressive. Again, I like the rotational orb. Doesn't quite manage to finish off the kill. Kath will be tagged down, so it's not too bad a start already. The problem is they really need that sort of aggression at the moment because they don't actually have too much utility to play with on the CT side.
But it's a free pick, to be honest, because they have the smoke down onto what's short, and they have a CT player watching that position. So even if someone runs with that smoke, they still have a person watching that. So she can basically, unless she loses the duel with that AWP, that's a free pick for her. So really good good ideas, and Kath is down to 35 HP, so it's not like they haven't gotten anything out of it. So slight advantage for Vexed, thanks to Anna and her orb.
Again, long control is going to fall down over towards his T side. This time they're actually going to look to capitalize off it, setting up smokes over just to basically block off the site so they're able to get that bomb down. Anna is going to be there with the AWP. And actually going to have a little bit of support as well in play. Gooseberry just playing around this smoke. Zonic is behind it.
Left. They have to check the left.
And they haven't. Kitty Cat's going to get one, looking for a little bit more. But actually, it's Emily once again, trades 2 back. She seems to be the star of the show at the moment for this T side. Marion looking to try and pop one out, and actually should be able to get this. This should be a kill onto the bomb, but unfortunately, Kath is there, covering her teammate, doing her job nicely. And we will now see a 4th round on the board for Dig.
Yeah, and as you said, Emily really doing well these last couple of rounds, getting the frags, getting the impact frags, getting them onto the bomb sites. And Team Dignitas now 2 rounds in a row after 3 in a row from Vexed, and we do see the first pause coming in, and it's actually not a tactical one, it's a technical one. So of course we're playing with the new system as in the majors at this tournament. So we do have
70-inch monitors.
Availability of the pauses coming in, because most of these teams actually do have coaches with them. So this is a really interesting one, and how they're going to use these pauses, because there's going to be a lot of opportunity during a game like this to say, okay, this is either going well or not going well. We can kind of like restructure our T side if that's what's the problem. So I'm really looking forward to see how the impact of the coaches, how's that going to show throughout this whole tournament.
Yeah, obviously this one, they can't talk. They're not allowed.
No,
they have to stay dead silent.
This is a technical one.
Their eyes always watching.
Yeah.
At ESL, they're always
the
watching.
ESL referee.
But yeah, I'm also economy game at the moment. We've got to take that into account. You can see Gooseberry are actually going to be trying to make a bit of money in this round. And they have read it rightly. The CT side are not going to have the money to invest too much. I think they will be able to buy in the next round because they have now lost a couple in a row. Obviously, they bought into this one. A little bit unfortunate Anna wasn't able to get that pick. It could have sort of switched the round up a little bit. Obviously, Kath doing a bit of damage pushing over. The defense towards the end was actually her defending the bomb. But at the moment, it seems to be Emily. She's just making the entry kills. And that's really important for this team. Both the last 2 rounds they've won. Emily gets 2 entries onto the B side, then does the exact same over towards A. Without that, it's going to be very difficult, and that's always the case in Counter-Strike. If your entry fragger is on point, you can have a very, very easy game. Yeah,
definitely. Money-wise, I think they might be actually saving up for one of the players to go without utility and then get that orb on Anna, because we've seen so far that if she gets that rolling, that's going to be a huge difference for them. So I actually agree with that decision of, I think it's Julia saving for this round, only buying a PT50, and we'll be able to drop that AWP in the next one. And on the other side of Dignitas, of course, starting to gain some money, as I said, economically, buying that Mac 10 on Gooseberry to get it going as well. But yeah, should be fixed anytime soon here, guys. And then we'll be able to jump straight back into the game. Right now, 5-4 in favor of Vexed.
Okay, it's looking, well, it looked like Kath just said they're ready, but I guess we're just going to come back to us instead. You get to look at us for a little bit. No, so far we haven't really been able to gather too much. Obviously, we still expect this map to be a CT-sided map, but that a lot of the time comes down to the defensive nature of the teams. Now, if you're a team that is based around that sort of strategy, you have the good synergy, then we can see sort of 9-10 rounds over on that CT side. Maybe even more if you're incredibly good at it. But I think the big problem is at the moment is just like sheer aggression from one player that's coming out has been the reason the CTs have lost some of their rounds. Like the sheer push just straight out of Monster actually caught them out just a round or two ago when they went for aggression themselves and they get caught out. And in the same time, we saw that on the A site, they lost long control. And again, it was Emily to just entry both onto the site. So obviously, I don't think that's anything too worrying just yet. If one player doing something very aggressive is what's losing you rounds, it's not really going to be something that they can keep up the whole game.
No, definitely not. So they just have to like stay confident, know that they can bring this back at all times. But yeah, the scoreline is still reached 5-4. Dignitas, of course, winning the last couple of rounds, but still we do have this eco, so it's probably going to be tied up 5-5 unless something absolutely amazing happens out of Vexed. But let's have a look at how they're going to play this one. Last time they actually did stack a couple of players in the same position. It looks like we're seeing the same thing once again with the push on to short B. And this is actually really good because they get a lot of map control and a lot of information because all the terrorist players from Team Dignitas are going up long A. Unluckily for the CTs, we have all Kitty Cat is all there is on this A bomb site right now, and they should be rotating one of the CT players. Yeah, he spots the whole thing. So so now that the rotation should be coming in here. Kitty Cat goes down. The rotations are not quick enough. That means the terrorists will have gifted the whole bomb site to themselves and now basically can get the bomb down and just hold angles because there's no way that Vexed are going to be able to come in and retake this bomb site with just pistols.
Yeah, they also had a flank being held off by Goose Breeder, which it basically just means there's no real way for them to get back. And she is pretty low, so maybe there's a kill there to be had. Obviously, when you have low economy, even $300 can help you out with a nade or two, a smoke. We know how valuable those are in slowing down the early pushes of these rounds. And it is actually Julie as well.
Yeah.
So we'll see if she can actually get anything done. It doesn't look like it.
These $300 could be the smoke that she needs for the next round. So,
or even the extra money for the AWP.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't actually think she's going to have enough. I think it's going to be very close unless...
Yeah, I think it's going to be like off with a couple $100. Let's have a look. But yeah, she will not find anything unless... No. Yeah, no one on that spot. So she has 4-9. That means she can buy the AWP, but she'll be armorless and probably also nadeless.
I think that'd be mad.
But
because she'd be glass cannon rifle, and I am not okay with that.
That would not be a smart decision. But yeah, 5-5 right now, and let's see what the CT side has to bring because they have to get back into this game. Dignitas secured 3 rounds in a row, and we do see the full rifle setup. And some of the players are missing some utility, but it's not too bad. Anna actually already now without any utility after using her smoke and flashbang. Also, curiously enough, buying head armor against AKs, but well, that's mistakes we see from every single player in the world, also on the absolute top of the male scene, so that's not too uncommon.
Yeah, and also for the first time, we're actually going to see Emily with the AWP.
Yeah.
She's been entry fragging with the rifle for most of the game so far, so we'll see what she can actually achieve with this AWP in play. Playing relatively passive at this moment in time, and it's Goose Breeder who's going to go and take long control now. This seems to be a problem so far. Now, they're actually playing 2 players close long. Now, this is very, very uncommon. Like, you may have 1 player here and then have a supported player further back, maybe with an AWP. But it's not going to be the case. Unfortunately, that means they're so far away on rotations. Luckily, they do have Julia to just go absolutely ham. Takes down 3 players, leaving Goose Breeder. Okay, you've got A. Enjoy it, because there's no one there. And in fact, she's going to get flanked as well.
In a second as well.
Well, just about. Just about. A lovely turn there as well. Julia just goes straight up the board, managing to find herself 3 kills. And in those sort of positions, finding individual jewels is very, very difficult. It takes someone quite skilled to actually just be able to turn back and forth between Monster and Short, especially when, like, if she goes down there, they lose the round. They've got 2 players very aggressive on long. The rotation will take way, way, way too long. So
also, to put in some critique there, it seemed like Team Dignitas' push was 2 or 3 seconds out of sync, because usually you want to hit Monster and Short at the exact same time with the exact same pop flash timing, so that if there's a position in the position that Julia was in, you can catch her out no matter what. And that was pretty much what lost in the round in this sense here. Now, Dignitas still has money to buy. One of the players even have 5k to spare, so economy's not that big of an issue right now. But the problem is that they're still on this T side. They still gotta like grind through these rounds here, because Vexed are looking quite comfortable comparing them to being the underdog in this one. They're still in the lead. They have money now, and everything is looking pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah, it has to be said, with most big plays, there's normally a mistake.
Yeah, that's true.
You're never going to get like an ace or something of the sort unless somebody does something incredible and maybe someone makes a mistake on the other end of things. But we are going to have, again, connector control. This time they've gone aggressive once more on long. Obviously, nothing really came of it in the previous round, so use the same strategy again. as said, it can mean that there's very long rotations. It actually means they've only got 2 players over towards this B site, which is not too bad. Obviously, Anna actually playing passive as well. So they are giving up a lot of map control, but they're taking other positions. This is always the gamble you play in this match. Kath is going to be spotting out. Anna just happy to fall back, use her utility to make sure nobody can push. And it looks like Kitty Cat's getting a little bit wary of the push over towards this long position as Emily is looking to entry once again. And not going to happen. Didn't expect anybody close at all.
So here we go. Molotov's come down to shut down the second CT player on that long position. Rotate back to the side, but Anna's on the side with the spray.
Triple kill for Anna. Easy stuff in the end. Arstar is just going to be looking to try and do something in this round, but Julie is there to finish things off. And, well, we get 1 triple kill. We get a second individual place from Vexed.
Yeah, that's a really nice spray coming in from Anna then. We'll secure them that round. 7-5 now for Vex Gaming on this CT side here in DE overpass. And, yeah, they're looking good. Marian's still a bit slow to start, only on 3 frags, but her team's doing quite okay. So if she steps it up the last 10%, then they actually do have a really, really good chance of getting a great first half and also taking this game off Dignitas, which would be the start for them. That would be absolutely critical for them to get through the groups in this tournament to take Dignitas down in the first game.
AWP back in play. This buy is not particularly good at the moment from the T side. They've got a Tech 9, they've got a Deagle onto Rain. They are going to be going back towards this B side. They've had relative success so far. Ooh, Boo's coming in, but actually completely blind. Probably should have fallen back there, but we'll stay alive for now. Molotov going to go down, and Goose Breeder will be entering onto the side, but it's Marian quickly trading 2 frags back, giving the advantage over, and actually finds a third as well, leaving just Kath and Artstar to try and rotate back over towards this A site. They have left the AWP of Anna there, ready and waiting. Still yet to see too much from this. Obviously, only the tag is what we've actually seen so far.
Yeah, the problem is that they only have 2 flashbangs, so they can't even smoke off any position. So they have to get 2 frags. They have to get Anna on the bomb side, and then the second person rotating in as well. So this is going to be a very, very hard task for Team Dignitas to get anything out of. And if Anna just hits her shot here, they won't even get past her. So turret in
they're gonna
activation mode. Yeah, they're going to go back, all the way back.
The problem is the second Anna stops seeing people, she's just going to say, yep, they're going back the other way again, just go back towards the B site, and you can already see they are just ready and waiting. Flashbang will go in, no utility left other than that. Sonic in a good position to just hold this one down, finds the first, easy push onto the second as well. Nice hold, and didn't over-rotate. Important stuff from Vex, 8-5.
Yeah, they're really playing good, like, simple fundamental CS, and that's a really good sign starting into a tournament, because technically, if you're going for a deep tournament run, you don't want to show your special strats until you get to the playoffs. So by them playing good fundamental, good simple CS, that's actually a really good start for them, because that shows that they might have even more stuff packed in their bags, and they don't even need it against Team Dignitas, who in many person's opinion would be probably one of the
in
top
ours
3
as well.
teams. Yeah, exactly. So this is actually a really good start from them. Dignitas now on an eco here with a couple of pistols. Anna being forced away back. Kitty Cat holding her back, getting a couple of frags here. Emily trying to go in. Kitty Cat finally taken down.
Manages to take 2. Emily will actually pick up the rifle. See if she's got any more entry fragging in her locker at the moment, but it's not the case. Anna will get the kill with the AWP as she has support from Julie as well. And 2 kills in a normal round, it wouldn't be too bad, but unfortunately going into the last round of the half, it makes absolutely no difference to the Vexed buy. May get an extra nade or 2 over on the Team Dignitas side, but in fact, really, what, it's 4-9, I think it's 4,900 to get yourself every single nade plus an AK plus armor. They had over 5 grand, unless they've picked up an AWP, which they haven't. I suppose Goose really got an extra pistol. There you go, a nice little Tech 9 added in.
Emulate is missing a flashbang. I'm not sure that's because of money, just because of misclick. Either way, that is going to be just 1 flashbang, so hopefully it's not going to make the big difference. And again with the aggression.
I don't think she knows. Kath has actually crossed, but she's not going to spot anybody, so we'll just fall back. Looks over towards the party area. Problem is, Kath is still waiting. Now, probably expect somebody to be around this area, so won't go too aggressive, but now hearing the AWP, Kath's going to be very close, but Anna's going to get the shot anyway, and actually goes further for aggression, takes Artstar as well, and is just going to be able to fade back into the smoke. Lovely stuff from the AWP over on the Vex side, and this leaves just 3 to challenge in this last round of the half.
That was absolutely outstanding from Anna. That second kill, I'm kind of sad we didn't see that, but that should have been, like, she was rotating and then hit a like quick shot with the AWP. That is absolutely stunning from her. So 9-5. Vex looking very close to getting the 10-5 half here, and that's a great start for the Emulate with Smoke and Molotov and Flashbang, the same on the rest of her team, so they still have some utility in order to take either bomb site. Right now they're looking at A, but once again, Anna's there. What can you do when the turret is activated and just firing on all cylinders?
This is the rotational AWP, just being played very, very well. Just moving into positions, being that surprise factor every single time, and she's going to get a 3rd kill in this round already. The beast has been awakened. 4th kill for Anna. Only 1 more left. Oh, can she get the ace? That's the question. Her team are definitely letting her go for it at the moment, and almost, but no cigar. 4 kills for her. It's going to be the end of the first half. 10-5. Relatively standard, but to be honest, we didn't see too much. I think Elite was the sort of the glimmering light over on that T side. Other than that, a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, to be honest, I am disappointed in Dignitas because we saw a few rounds where they actually showed their true potential. They're a really good T setup and really good push into the bomb side, had perfect smokes. And then in other rounds, we saw them miss up their timing, not being synced up. So it's kind of like we've seen the good and the bad side of Dignitas in this match so far. So it's pretty much up to them to bring it back here.
We've got a knife round highlight.
That's a first. Never seen that before. And here we go. Okay, so we had the highlights of the first half. Kitty Cat, of course, with the UMP 45. And yeah, in general, a great performance by Vexed, but also a tiny tad disappointment for Dignitas.
Well, yeah, definitely. Individually, we saw a few players go. Like, Kitty started the game off very, very well for her team, and then Anna just burst into life last round with that AWP. Had some nice picks coming left, right, and center. Had the spray with the AK as well. So showing she's definitely a versatile player. So, well, maybe we heard the coach sort of hyping her up, maybe for good reason at this point. And here we go. This is the spray. That's
a
lovely
really good
stuff.
Spray.
3 kills with only 19 bullets. Not bad.
So here we go into the pistol. We do see 4 armored pistols on the T side. One of them going the raid boss mode. That's Anna picking up the Tech 9 and the small armor, while Sonic will be the one with the smoke on the T side. So waiting for that coordinated push onto either of the bomb side, utilizing that smoke and then sending in Anna first to get that opening frag.
Yeah, we are actually going to see them go straight in over towards this B site. The aggression at the moment from Dig doesn't seem to have paid off. They've now left this site completely open. Only Cat there to defend it. Doesn't quite seem to be able to find too much just yet. Rain will be able to find one in the meantime. Nice shot from Marion as she turns around, but it's going to be the man advantage once again over towards this Vex size as the bomb goes down. Now there is a kit onto Artstar. They've got to get back into the site relatively quickly. Maybe able to find one, but Marion's actually going to get another kill. Eventually traded out, but it still leaves the advantage with this T side. Tech 9 on Anna, of course, doing all of the work, and another triple kill for her. 21-9 at the moment. And with that pistol, this game starts to get very scary for Dig.
Yeah, definitely. This is not looking good for them at all. And also, like, I understand what Emulate was doing in that position because he wanted to make sure there was no one on short hiding behind that wall that could kill them if they wanted to go for the bomb. But by doing that, she doesn't check Pillar where Anna is. And Anna is the most dangerous player this round because she has that Tech 9, she has that armor as well. So that kind of just neglects that position and gets herself killed in the end. So it's a gamble, and a gamble I would not like want to take in that situation. But she went for it. Of course, sometimes gambles do pay off. And this time, it just didn't.
And I'm going to be the new like advertisement for MP7s. Bringing it back in once again over on this T side. Rest are going to be with AKs and UMPs, pretty much exactly what we expect to see in Counter-Strike at the moment. The 2 weapons of choice. Double scout over on that CT side could get a little bit interesting. Now, Rain's just going to be hiding up towards that heaven position, trying to tag a few players. Obviously, every player she hits becomes just a perfect target for these pistols. So that's exactly why they've got the scout in play. One over towards long, definitely a good position to be holding it. And, well, we're just going to see that's where the majority of the Ts are going at the moment. Marion will be waiting back just to make sure nobody can push through B, which is exactly what you need, the luck player. The only thing I don't like is that she actually has an AK, and if the CTs manage to get that kill, they can steal that away. So we'll see if that comes into play later on. Now the push is going to come in, and, well, Emily not going to shoot just yet, just going to wait until she actually has the shot.
Yeah, this is kind of weird because if that terrorist saw her, which she probably did, she can just smoke that scout off straight up when she knows that position. And I think that's exactly what's happening right now. So that's kind of like, I understand not like going for the shot earlier.
It's trigger control, yeah.
Yeah, but
with the scout, the value is a little bit diminished.
Yeah, so Sonic now pushing in, and now they're going to take, after faking onto that A bomb side, all the terrorists are going to go into B, get that bomb down. That was a really nice fake coming in from Vexed, and Team Dignitas just took the bait and just over-rotated, and now they have to rotate back. They know that Sonic is in that corner now, but she's going to take out Cat. Emulate And Artstar trying to make it in, but with scouts behind the smoke, it's going to be incredibly hard for them to retake this. And they might just save the 2 scouts, might even also save the 5. Oh, that's a huge shot, though.
Yeah, fadeaway shot will come in from Rain, just removing that MP7 from the round. I don't think Anna's going to be too worried about that one going into the next, but yeah, no, I do like the fake. I have to admit, though, for Team Dignitas' perspective, when you're in a pistol round like this, you do have to kind of over-rotate because you can't just split your defense. You have a disadvantage. You've got to go for something a little bit cheesy, a little bit risky. Yeah, if it pays off, you have 5 players on A when they hit it. If not, you have 0. The only thing I don't agree with in that situation when you're stacking, just keep the weapons and bring them into the next round. There is literally no value in just pushing back in and trying to challenge, because the chance of you winning that once they're all set up in after plants is like 5%. So don't like that factor of it, but the fact that they did just try and do something, a little bit of a gamble. What I'm interested by here is they've actually bought 2 smokes. Now, what they're going to do with this, that's what I want to question. There's going to be an aggressive smoke actually thrown out, maybe to try and stop someone pushing, or almost script that they're going to go for some aggression. But yeah, definitely interesting to see. I'd always love to see what people do with utility when they buy it in this sort of rounds. But normally we see maybe a flashbang, so you can go for a pop flash and rush them. But a smoke, not something you see too often.
Yeah, so the smoke goes down and tries to fake that maybe early aggression from the CT side. And while that's happening, they rotate all the players to the B side. So I think the idea here is to fake that aggression and then force the terrorist players to say, okay, we're not going to go that way. Then we're going to go B, which is the stack. In the meanwhile, they do have that 1 single scout on Rain, looking towards Long. She's not spotted anything yet. The terrorists have not really moved either, so they're just playing this one perfectly, in my opinion. Just take map control, play very slowly. There's no reason to do anything hesitant. Just walk slowly in, see if you find someone. If don't, call it out, move on to the next area. They have plenty of time. There's still 50 seconds remaining, and no one has died, and no one has seen anyone really.
Yeah, just waiting to see if there is any aggression, I suppose, after that smoke goes down. But it will be Marion to start things off. Artstar is out. Obviously, she's actually pulling off the fake at the moment, and there are just 3 players waiting just around this corner. And because of that, they're going to rotate the bomb in. She hasn't cleared the site at all. So this is actually the perfect position to do some damage. You're going to see the push come out. Kath will get one. If they can get anything more than this, it's actually quite costly. Rain going to pick up another. The smoke in the meantime, they're going to push behind. Goose Breeder gets one. Anna down to low HP. They're doing a lot of damage with these pistols at the moment, and they can't rotate. They've got no time. Rain gets one more. There's only Kitty left. All she needs is a body tag. Literally all she needs is to hit the shot, and this is done. Too late. And they've done it. They win a round with pistols and a scout. Lovely positioning, but it has to be said, why did they rotate before that site was clear?
Yeah, it kind of looked... I imagined that they were going to push 1 AK in, then make sure that no one could rotate away from the side, and then go towards A instead. But they rotated in and just walked straight into the trap of Team Dignitas. And as you said, like, if you have a round where you have pistols, or close to pistols in this one, just try something weird and try something else so you can throw your opponent off. And they did exactly that, and it worked out. Still behind 6-12, but now they have some kind of like idea of they can still get back into this game. 5 AKs on the T side. They are missing a couple of grenades, but otherwise pretty much a full buy. The question is, can they turn that back? Because resetting Dignitas now would be, well, first of all, putting Vexed on 13, and here goes the aggression out short.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not going to pay off for the start. It will be a quick trade, but that definitely benefits the D-side more, and Rain actually going to get decimated by Sonic Headshot through the wall. Was that actually just through the wooden spot? That is wonderful if that's the case.
Yeah.
But we will see the 3 versus 4, and the weaponry as well over on that CT side is not the best at the moment. Elite just has the scout that was dropped to her from the previous round, and considering they won that round, the fact that they're the ones skimping after that was just a save is a little bit weird to me. I wonder if they have some money left in the bank after this round, or if Elite was just going to be waiting to get an AWP. The problem is, I don't think they're really in a position to take gambles. They sort of needed to get rounds on the board. They're 6 rounds behind at the moment. If they make that 7 and then break their own economy, they're going to be stuffed.
Yeah, exactly. That was the point I was trying to get to before the aggression on short happened. That they have to go like all in right now, because if they lose this one, they're going to be struggling for money. They're also going to be 6-13, so they have to go in every single time now. Here comes the push from the C side.
Yeah, Anna is just going to be jumping straight up, takes down Emily and leaves nobody left other than Kath. Now she is on the flank. Maybe able to catch some players rotating back in, but she's missed her chance. They know exactly where she is. Even with that kill, it's going to be very difficult to come back, and Anna's positioning is just smart. The likelihood of Kath to actually check behind her, she's actually going to go back round the other way, and Anna's just going to miss the timing. This is absolutely perfect. Look at her positioning, sprays down, and that is going to be the round. Almost too easy for Vexed. 13-6, 3 rounds away from, well, not only getting to that upper bracket match, but Kitty Cat maybe attempting to get some revenge on Secret.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I want that.
Sure.
I want to see that.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting match. And also because, like, Dignitas versus Secret, we've seen that matchup a couple of times, especially when they were before
when they're in the final.
Yeah. So we've seen that, but Vexed against Secret in an upper bracket, that was not what anyone expected. So that might actually throw a wrench into the whole machine of Secret, and that could be the most interesting thing because they are, of course, the big favorites here. So I'm really looking forward to that. Of course, we still have to wait for Vexed to finish this because we've seen
let's calm down.
Many a Counter-Strike match being 13-6 or the likes of that, and then turning completely on its head.
Yeah, the problem at the moment, though, is that 14-6 is looking almost inevitable because of the buy. Now, they managed to pull off a ridiculous buy with mainly USPs and a scout.
Deagles, man.
And they do actually, yeah, they've got some Deagles. They've got a kit as well. I quite like that investment. Obviously, buying yourself a little bit of extra time. Only $400. Emily clearly had the money to do it. But I think that was actually from the scout job. So still very confused by that scenario, but that's done. That's gone. And we just look to the future. And while the future is all Marion at the moment, she picks up the first 2 kills of the round. This time, she's going to be checking relatively carefully over towards this B site, I reckon.
See here, Emily in that connector. If she times it correctly, she could actually go out and get a free kill right now, but she decides to hold the defensive angle. She doesn't hear the door, though. Marion does not hear the door. Emily will be able to take it out, and that's one AK secured on the player that already has a kit and the armor. So she could be the linchpin of this remaining part of this round, and she could actually win this one for her team. But right now, the A bomb site is being taken, so it's a retake for Team Dignitas to stay in this game.
Yeah, the problem was Marion did actually spot out 2 players as she went down, so that meant that there could only be maximum of 1 on A. So this time they actually go for the smart rotation. They know exactly what they're doing, the positions of at least 2 of the 3 players, and now Artstar, well, got a lot to do. Obviously, I think the decision from Emily to save in this is a pretty good one. Obviously, they're very close to the end of the game, but wants to keep that in as much as possible, may even be able to drop it and then pick up an AWP, something we may not even get to see otherwise over on the CT side. And on the T side, not picking up an AWP on overpass, I'm absolutely fine with that. I don't think it's a map that necessarily needs it. On the CT side, however, I do think it's something very important, especially when you look towards that A site. I think there's a huge point towards that AWP. And will Kitty end it? Oh, that's just brutal. Right at the depth of the round, she's going to take down one more, making things ever more costly. And, well, I think maybe with that AK, we could have seen an AWP. She actually has the exact sort of amount of money needed to get one on the board. Instead, just going to have to settle for the rifle UMP onto Rain and Goosebreeder, in fact. So, again, just pulling in this meta gun at the moment. But it is going to be straight AKs over on that T side. Haven't needed Anna to go styling with that AWP just yet, because other than that sort of one upset round, they have been dominating.
Definitely dominating. And then once again, just very careful play from the T side, just taking their map control, kind of the T side of everything, and then setting up here. Marin setting up the smokes. Not sure this is the push. This is probably just a fake here to force some of the CTs to stay away and stay on this B bomb side. The rest of the team are looking towards A at the moment, and they still have that defensive connector control in form of Julia. So this is looking quite well for Vexed. Team Dignitas just very defensively focused.
Yeah, really not going for any sort of map control at the moment. They're just sitting all the way back towards the side. Now, this can work out. It can mind game your opponent a little bit. The problem is they're not sitting back and waiting. They're just taking control. They have connector. They've pushed over towards B. They have players on long. They're going through toilets as well. They're clearing out all of these angles and just thinking, okay, well, they're probably on the site. They've got not really anywhere else they can be at this point. The fact is, they know they're not in water either, so they've pretty much cleared the whole map, and we've still got 40 seconds left on the clock. The problem is, they haven't actually found too much from it. They haven't got any entries yet, and this passive sort of play, with utility left over on the CT side, could actually be the bane of the life of this T side. Now, Anna is going to go straight in, however, picks up that first kill, takes the head clean off of Emily. Arstar's position is good, though. 2 kills straight back, wants a little bit more, and gets it as well, leaving it down to just 2 players versus 3. Now, there's a couple of umps in play. The problem is, they've only got 15 seconds. Even tried to rotate that bomb back, and it's just not going to pay off. Anna will go down, and the passive round works wonderfully for Dig.
Yeah, the position of Artstar there was absolutely crucial. Picks up 2 with the rifle, then switches on to the pistol and takes that kill with it as well. And now we do have a tactical pulse coming in from Vexed. And I really like that decision because, well, we can see right now on the money that, well, I think it's going to be maybe, yeah, Kitty's going to drop for Marion, and then they're going to either go with, like, either they're going to go Tech 9 train, or then they're going to go, like, bare bones AK, some of the players without utility. So this is actually a really good time to do that tactical timeout, to be absolutely sure what's the best plan and how can we execute it perfectly to get ourselves on that 15.
Even, like, that's the first, I want to say proper or buy round that they've lost. So
yeah,
they can talk about, okay, what went wrong in that situation, and a lot of it, I have to give props over to Dignitas. The fact that they played that passively, but they didn't overuse utility. They were just ready to sort of go, okay, we're going to drop a close smoke so that we can play defensively.
Yeah.
Well, they dropped that smoke with 30 seconds left on the clock. It meant that basically they had to go for something risky over on that Vex side because they just didn't have time to wait out another 15 seconds. You can't execute onto a site with 12 seconds left unless you're maybe Na'Vi or Flipside, and a lot of the time they get caught out by those sort of strategies. I think Godsend, like the original Godsend, did that a lot as well, but not to a very good standard. Like they would run out of time so often. Yeah, I definitely do think that maybe they'll speed things up. I think that might be the way to just go about things. Just say, okay, hey Dignitas, you want to hold on to your utility? We're just going to rush you at the beginning of the round, and then you can hold on to it all you like because we're just going to take your heads off.
So here we go. We're back into the game. 14-7 in favor of Vexed.
Oh, not a Galil. P90 onto Emily, though. It's coming back in.
It's coming back in.
She's trying to make it stylish again.
Yeah.
You know? Like, someone has to start the trends. That's the way. Like, you can either be the person who follows the meta, or you can bring back the P90, and that's what I want to see. Obviously, Get Right's probably out there smiling somewhere, and there you go. As said, they speed things up. Anna's going to get that opening kill onto Kath. Down and out already. Goosebreeder's position is very good, and actually manages to get 2. However, it is going to be back to that 3 versus 3. A lot of low players on the board at the moment. Nay's going to be thrown out. Bomb down, but they've still got so much time to play with. They do not have to rush this by any stretch of the imagination.
No, I really like what they're doing, just holding it down. The bomb is, of course, as you said, dropped on the bomb side. So they just have to hold the angles and then make sure that they take the correct decision, they take the correct fights, and they kind of go in together as a unit instead of just taking like 3 different 1v1s. Artstar's position right now on short, on the box, I think, is actually really curious. Wondering to see what comes out of that. Marion goes onto short, goes for that second one, but Arstar takes her out. Now it's all on Anna, 8 HP. Possible clutch here.
Knows where one of the players' positions is, and now we'll know the second as Rain throws out, but it's just going to run and gun with the trusty Ump. And this will actually give Dignitas a way back into this one. We are going to hear the screams from the distance.
It is LAN.
But we are in a little bit of a predicament at the moment. Now, obviously, Team Dignitas have not made anywhere near enough money to sort of say, okay, they're going to be coming back into this one or anything of the sort. They managed to win a couple of rounds, and that round was very, very close in the end. It just came down to a few decent positions coming out over towards short, and obviously Anna being so low on HP, she couldn't really do anything towards the end of the round. Yeah. Obviously, in this scenario, they are just going to save
That's a perfect flash.
Goodbye, Artstar.
So, let's see here, Anna now. To be honest, so far on this team on Vex, the star player in this game. Absolutely. P250 gets the first frag, then picks up the AK-47, and now AK-47, she's pretty much like going all against SMGs. There's only one M4 on that CT side, so that's actually really interesting. That means that she can take long-range duels and probably win them most of the time, because, well, if you go AK versus MP7, then of course the AK is going to win 9 out of 10 times, and that's what she's going for right now. The CTs have to use their utility to block her off, and eventually just wait for her to push in and hold close range angles, because they can't challenge against this AK.
Yeah, the thing is as well, with the MP9 and such, if they do get close, she's screwed. She has no armor, so obviously the aim punch is going to be ridiculous, and that MP9 will shred you in a matter of seconds, so has to play tactically with this AK. Of course, got plenty of teammates as well that can be dropped over if she gets tagged down. They got 35 seconds, so they are going to make their move onto this side. Now, the SMGs are just going to be so beneficial here. P90 does get a couple, eventually taken down and very, very close. Anna now with the AK left. Just going to be playing around the smoke. Goosebreeder is going to be very low, in fact, so only 9 HP. They're trying to make money in these rounds. This is only a pistol in play at the moment, or pistols bought up by this T side. They want to keep at least 3 players alive, and they will do just that. AK should be picked up as well, removing that MP9 from the scenario. And it will be a buy coming back in. Now, this is going to be a little bit limited, I suggest.
Let's see here. Also, the money is starting to build up on the CT side, and as probably pretty much all Counter-Strike players know, that building up that economy on the CT side is really, really important because you don't get that big of a chance, and the weapons are a tad more expensive on the CT side, so having that bank is absolutely crucial in order to build a comeback run into a game. Right now, Dignitas on 14. They still need 5 more rounds to tie the game. A quick play coming out of the T team, taking early control onto short. The bomb is still dropped behind, so it's not going to be a quick push, but they have taken quick map control. That's a good start for them.
The thing I have to point out, though, is that early smoke that was thrown out by the CT side has meant that the Ts have actually used quite a bit of utility just to get through it, expecting somebody there. So not really a bad trade early on, especially the CTs are the ones who should have the majority of the utility, although only 1 smoke left. They've got a couple of incendiaries, which is definitely going to be the moneymaker in this sort of position, throwing those down to slow down any pushes. Bit of an off angle from Artstar as well. Will catch out Marion. Going to be the first pick going their way. And this is where we want to watch this T-side, see how they actually manage to come back into this round. So far, they haven't really done too much. They've got a minute left on the clock. They've only spotted 1 player on that B side. Nothing else has really been gathered. Not quite going to be able to hit that jump shot. Obviously something that, it's a little bit risky taking that jump now. I think a lot of players can hit that shot very, very easily. It's predictable, so a little bit risky. Millisecond away from losing her head, but not quite going to happen just yet. And I like this spot from Rain. I don't even think it's going to be checked. Not first time, at least already a second advantage over. Make that a third. Rain just cleaning things up at the moment. And this leaves the remaining 2 players to try and push back in. Not getting much done either with only 20 seconds left on the clock. And Rain will get the triple kill. Pushing herself further at the top of the board. 21 and 14. Obviously, we've still got Anna and Kitty Cat, in fact, doing that a little bit better over on the T side. But they're starting to string some rounds together. That's 4 in a row.
4 in a row, and Rain looking really good scoreboard-wise. So she's getting the frags in left, right, and center, and just building her own economy, and actually also being able to early on drop to her teammates and then secure that ongoing economy on that CT side, but also like just building confidence, because if you are behind, you really need that confidence. If you've lost 6 rounds in a row, you're not going to go out and go for a great peak. You're just going to stay back and be scared. So this is really helping her like progress in towards this game. And right now, it's of course going to be a pistol round coming out from Vexed. They're going to go for 1 Tech 9. Probably going to throw down a smoke towards that A bomb site to block off and just run straight on. And Artstar's there, but she gets flashed out for the beginning.
Yeah, just going to fall back though. Not going to go out for anything too risky in this scenario. Don't want to get near those pistols. Obviously the 1-shot headshot is going to be worrying in this sort of scenario. Now we do have 4 players at the moment over towards the safe zone. There may be 1 in heaven, but either way, they have got the majority of their players over in this position. And that's the CT side as well. They're the ones with all the weaponry. So we are just gonna, I like this. They're trying to just hide, almost just convince them, no, we've gone. We're not here anymore. We're all just sitting in one corner. If anybody peeks that corner, they're gonna have a nasty surprise, as the pistols will be able to hit the close range shots. But surprisingly, or not so surprisingly, the CTs are just gonna be waiting back, just play this passively. But now the push will come in. Nice crossfire. Artstar again seems to be very well positioned. It will be Emily to get a couple until she is eventually traded out. And now it's only Anna left, and we'll go down to Goose Breeder. So 4 players alive, exactly what was needed for the CT side. The minimum sort of against these pistols, as you want to be building up that money continuously. And they have done. They've actually got a decent bank over on that CT side now.
Yeah, definitely. Goose Breeder on 11k before buying here, so this is actually looking really nice. And the comeback could technically be real now. They've taken 5 or 6 rounds in a row now. They have a bank. They have the confidence right now after winning these last couple of rounds. And now it's up to Anna, her orb, to see and the rest of Vexed.
That's the big thing. They felt like, okay, now we need it. Look at the aggression. 4 players are just going to go for the early peek to see if they can spot anyone over towards this site. Can we get there we go. No, 4th time lucky they'll get that boost down. There isn't going to be anybody. Yeah, they're not going to be anybody over towards long. They're just going to rotate back. I like the aggression. Just see if there's anybody pushing there early on.
And also, I like the fact that they're pushing in pairs, so they're not just going one person off and then eventually dying, taking a duel. If one person goes and does aggressive play and dies, they can immediately go in and get the trade frag as well. So I really like the aggression, but also the thought behind it. So it's not just like, hey, I'm going to go aggressive here. They actually have this planned all out, and they know exactly what to do if something goes wrong.
We are going to have the pop flash again, taking long control. First time we're going to see this AWP on the T side, so we'll see if it has an impact. Again, quite a slow round coming up from Vex, and they have been punished for this in the past. There's still a lot of utility over on that CT side. With 45 seconds going down, they've got 2 incendiaries, a load of flashbangs, and a smoke. And look at this, the timing may just get the better of the teaser. It's actually going to be a trade to start, and Anna will be able to get that second kill. So now, they're the ones with the advantage going into the latter stages of this round. 30 seconds left, Incendiary's going to go out to try and slow down the push, but it won't do anything of the sort. We are just going to see Julie get herself over towards the site. 20 seconds left. Artstar from behind, however, and the flank has not been taken into account too well, evening the scoreline up, and they've only got 15 seconds to make this play. Quick trade. Emily still on the site. There's nobody to be able to plant the bomb, and now they've got to actually get it down with Artstar still on the flank.
Oh, she plants. Oh! Artstar clutches
both
it.
Kills. Yeah, that was just poorly played in the end. It has to be said by the T side. They did everything right up to the point where, okay, they get the trades, then they push back in, they have one player watching the flank who goes down, and then they just don't react to that. Artstar was able to get away with way too much on that flank, and actually that's the reason she wins the round. They're just not ready to actually take her down.
Yeah. As you said, great plays. Often starts from tiny mistakes on the other sides. And now it's going to be 14-12, so Team Dignitas fighting their way back into this one. And now, well, that was probably the closest we've seen Vexed Gaming be in the last 5 rounds.
That's 7 in a row?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe my maths is bad, I don't know.
Oh,
well, it's definitely
obviously
bad.
custom math, but there's nothing to do there.
I'm not paid for maths, it's fine.
So here we go, set up into round number 27. And both teams with really good setups. They have the smokes, the nades, the utility that they need, the weapons that they need. So this is a real clash of the titans after seeing a lot of eco rounds and half buys in the second half. Now I really get to see the best part about these both teams.
Interestingly, we've still not seen an AWP on that CT side.
Yeah.
Something they don't feel the need to bring in. They have been playing very passively in a lot of these rounds, so I can understand it. In this round, we are going to see a bit more aggression in Artstar actually going over towards the long position. Now, without an AWP supporting, I'm not actually very much of a fan of this position with only one. Like, with the two, I was actually quite intrigued by that. But with one player, she should never get more than 1 kill. And it actually looks like she's going to go close. That's going to be the pop flash out. Kitty's going to win that duel. The flash doesn't do anything of the sort, so just leaves her out to dry a little bit. And now we are just going to see Emily, the only player actually defending this site at the moment, and Anna's just going to pick her off with the AWP. So again, they're going to have the two has an advantage, and Goose Breeder is going to be in play to try and stop this from happening. Now Kitty doesn't actually know her position. The peek out may just get her a frag, but it's not quite going to work out, leaving it still into this 5 versus 3. And this time, they have a little bit more time to play, but 25 seconds and the bomb will be going down just about, almost traded back into a closer situation. Unfortunately, another one goes down. Sonic picks up a frag, and the remaining 2 players don't seem to be able to find anything at the moment. Rain will be able to drop 1, and actually now we're going to lose Anna. They're trying to play the passive game at the moment, just sitting back, and they haven't spotted the player close. This means that Sonic's going to be able to get a freebie and is still behind the remaining player. Mariam will close this down, and finally, after a long hiatus from the board, 6 rounds rather than 7, but it will be them back to take map point.
Yeah, and also like the last player on one of the last players on the Vexed team had 2 flashbangs and also picked up a Molotov in that end. So even though if it would have been out to a 1v1, she could just molotov the bomb and just flash herself out of the position. So that was just perfect from Vex, bringing themselves back in. Of course, Team Dignitas, as we mentioned earlier, did build up a good economy, so they can still buy up here. So it's not like they're going to be losing the battle in like an eco or something like that and then lose the game. They're still going to have the M-Force, they're still going to have utility on most of the players, and they still have a fighting chance of bringing this to overtime. And well, if you watch day 1 of the IEM tournament in the next building, there was a crazy amount of overtimes. Maybe we will be just a split here today.
OT, OT, OT. Hopefully we're not going to have the sort of the ties, even though that is literally impossible in the way that ours is being done. But yeah, we'll see if that comes about. If it does, then well, maybe we can sub in Hugo and Harry, and they can do all the OTs and we'll just disappear. No, I'm kidding, of course. But early round scenarios, we are going to see a little bit of aggression. A minute left on the clock. Once again, the T's playing relatively slowly. It seems like some of the faster plays are actually what works quite nicely for them, making this CT side expend utility, but this time they don't have a huge amount to spare. There's going to be a few flashbangs and an incendiary. There's no smokes left with 45 seconds to go. So wherever Vex decide to push, they're not going to be denied, which has been the big thing for them. Actually, utility usage by Team Dignitas has been the biggest factor. They've been able to slow down the pushes. But Artstar She's going to use this. She's going to go for an aggressive push instead. Doesn't win the duel. And now this should be the push coming out from the T side. But look at Emily. Catches one facing the wrong way. Looks for a second, just trying to hold them in their place. Only 25 seconds left on the clock. And they are going to pick up another 2 kills. However, Marion, Kitty Cat bringing it back, leaving Kath and Rain to try and challenge to keep themselves in this map. 10 seconds as the bomb will be planted. And now we see them just fall back. A couple of players will be in aggressive positions, meaning that they can just try and catch out the remaining players. But you can see as well,
still
now
utility.
Kitty Cat is going to fall back. And it's only 2 flashbangs. That's the big problem for this CT side already. Anna's position works wonderfully. Catches one, does a lot of damage onto Kath. She doesn't have a kit, so we'll have to go and pick that up off the floor. And even in this situation, there should be absolutely no way she's able to come out of this round. I think this may just be the end, as it will be Vexed taking map number 1. Or no, only map, as it is a best of 1, of course.
Yeah.
And they will be going through to the upper bracket.
That's going to be really interesting because everyone would be saying before this match that, okay, Group A is going to be the strongest one. It's going to be Dignitas and Secret fighting it out and finding out who's the strong in that group. But now we're going to have to see Vexed going up against Secret. And then in the lower part of the bracket, we're going to see Dignitas taking on iSports.
Yeah, then it's a brutal bracket as well. You lose 2 best of 1s,
You're
goodbye.
out.
Sayonara, you are done. You are going to be going home empty-handed. So a hard start for Dignitas, especially. And that's the thing. Our finalists from the previous female event has just fallen into the lower bracket after the first map. Now, maybe this will be the sort of the kick they need. Just sort of like, okay, we've got to step our game up. Maybe we need to throw in some of those strats we were sort of trying to save. Or maybe we've just seen Vex come out and say, do you know what? We haven't won a map on LAN before this.
This is
just
actually
won our first map.
first map win on LAN.
Yeah. And it's the first map, and it's against Dignitas.
Yeah,
so
that's a big scalp to take early on.
very impressive performance from them. Maybe we were looking at one of the dark horses from this tournament so far. And Kitty Cat gets to go and play against her old team, which I'm definitely going to be excited. Maybe she knows some of their secret strats.
Storylines, my friend, storylines. Storylines for days here at the Intel Challenge in Katowice. And yeah, really, really good game to start us off here on the stream, to be honest. And like, this has been a great beginning, and hopefully a beginning of something that could go on and become a great tournament. I think so, because when you have a team that is, well, pretty much hyped up as an underdog, taking on one of the best teams in the tournament in the first game already, then we have an interesting show on our hands.
Either way, there are going to be plenty of games coming up later in the day, but I think we are going to be throwing it to a short break, and then we will come back with what I expect as our winners match, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think maybe we're going to pop up the bracket first. So we'll pop up the bracket, and then I think we will be jumping over to a break. So obviously, this is how things look at the moment. We do have our winners match, which will be Team Secret versus Vex, and then the elimination match, which will be iSports versus Team Dignitas. So one of them will be the first team going home.
That's going to be interesting. That's going to be coming up right here on the stream for the Intel Challenge in Katowice here on ESL
CSGO C.
Yeah, there we go.
But yeah, we are going to hand it off to a break, and we will be back shortly with the winners match, I think.